What do we do when the unthinkable happens? Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. I received a comment on a video that I did recently asking me to address what to do when someone loses their spouse and when you have spent time preparing for two people and suddenly it's one. And I know that there's a number of our longtime dazers that have experienced this. It is, to me, it's unthinkable, and my heart goes out to you. But I thought it was important, and hopefully it helps somebody moving forward. First, I want to start out by saying I am deeply sorry for your loss. When you've built a life and a pantry for two, the shift for just one can feel overwhelming, both emotionally and practically. What you're going through is not just about food. It's about grieving and finding a new rhythm in life that suddenly feels very unfamiliar. One of the important things to remember is that you're not alone in this. Many people walk this same road, and there are gentle, practical ways to navigate it, especially when it comes to managing your pantry and meals after such a significant change. First and foremost, start with grace, not guilt. Your pantry may feel like it's too full, like it's too much, but it's okay and it's normal. What you built was out of love and caring. There's no need to rush in downsizing at all. Give yourself permission to pause. We really need to learn to give ourselves permission to pause and let your pantry become a quiet support system, to help you as you take your time and you heal, because you need to take the time to heal. One of the things that you can do is we'll call it a gentle inventory. When you're ready, don't do it before you're ready, but when you're ready, okay? Take a quiet look through the pantry and ask yourself some really kind of easy, not so easy questions. What items do you still enjoy? What items were mostly for them? What's nearing expiration or best buy? This isn't about clearing everything out. It's about becoming familiar with what you have so that you can start using it intentionally in this new life. A really hard thing to do, and I know this, is shifting to smaller portions. As somebody who chronically cannot make a pot of soup for less than 20 people, but cooking for one often feels like it's way too much effort, Oh, it's just me. I'll just have a peanut butter sandwich. No. So these are some ideas for making that cooking for one work a little bit better for you. The first one is to freeze in small portions. So the portions that you know that you can consume, if you can only make soup for 20, then drill that down and freeze the other 19 portions so that you've got them in the future. Cook once, eat forever. You can also batch prep snacks or small meals, right? Like soup, oatmeal packets, single-serve rice bowls. Those are great in the freezer. Using what you have in your pantry. It's another easy way to kind of prep everything one time and not have to deal with it again for a little while. When you're looking at portion sizes, one of the things that has helped a lot of people is using things like muffin tins. So you can freeze small portions of casseroles or stews or soups, any leftover beans or even pasta sauce in muffin tins, in the individual muffin holders. And you freeze them like that, and that's, poof, a single serve. So once it's frozen, you take them out and you can put those cubes into one bag. And then whenever you want, you can just go and grab those. It's an option if you don't want to freeze like an entire meal, but just different portions of different things, and then you can pick and choose. It's an option for making smaller portions. As you move forward through this, you're going to definitely shop and restock your pantry differently. There's no way around that, So look at smaller containers of condiments, maybe shelf-stable milk instead of a gallon of milk, freeze-dried or dehydrated items, because you can take smaller portions of those. One of the stories that I frequently have shared over the years is that my long-term food storage with Thrive is literally my retirement plan, It's a way that I know that Phil or I will have real honest-to-goodness food that won't go bad, that we're not throwing out. It's bought, it's paid for, it's there, it's done. And I can make the portions as big or as small as I need or I want. and there's kind of no thought after that. So your freeze-dried and your dehydrated foods can definitely help you with portion sizes and not letting anything go to waste. Longer shelf life items are something to consider if it's not something that's been, the standard go-to, like canned fruits and grains that you still enjoy, okay? Just in smaller quantities. As you're going through all of this, something to consider creating is, I guess, what you'd call a comfort shelf, and this is really good for just about anybody. But in this particular instance, a comfort shelf can definitely make you feel better. It's set aside a spot in your pantry, right, for easy, comforting meals that take like no effort. Right after we lose somebody, there tends to be just a barrage of people with, wanting to help and wanting to be there, and you're kind of inundated, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's gone. Everybody's gone back to life, and so then you are there and you're working through stuff and it's hard. It is. So having that area set up or creating that area with the comfort meals that take like no effort will help make sure that you're still eating, but not having to put forth a lot of energy or thought process towards it. So your soups, your broths, your cups of noodles, right? Crackers and peanut butter. I'm convinced that is a complete comfort meal right there. Canned peaches or applesauce, is another thing. Don't forget about your herbal teas, your hot chocolate, maybe, whatever warm drink that you like. Sometimes we just really need something warm and simple to get through the day. It helps with kind of calming the emotions a little bit. It's something to consider. Those little things that just make you feel a little bit better as time goes on. Something to seriously consider is inviting company, even if it's just for a meal, okay? And I have been known to do this because this makes sure, since I'm eating smaller portions, that our food is still being rotated on a regular basis. I invite people over and I feed them. Feeding people is kind of my love language anyway, so it's a great way to keep that food rotating, okay? And to have company, keep building those relationships and taking a deep breath. Because if you're like me, what makes me comfortable is cooking for people, baking for people, And so if anything were to ever happen, that's something that I would automatically go to, even though it's kind of difficult. I would want to do it. So figuring out a way at some point as you're moving through this where you're comfortable with inviting people over, even if it's just for a meal. Come over for coffee and some muffins. Hey, do you want to do lunch? I'm making lunch and I would love to make you lunch. Hey, let's have dinner, and not going out. You're not going out and spending money. You're there. You're at your home and you're doing it there, and that's helping you rotate through your food. So inviting a friend or a family member to cook with you and to share a meal, okay? Donating extra shelf-stable foods to the local shelter or the food pantry, especially if it's things that are in the pantry that were more of their favorite than yours. You really don't care for it, Sharing home-cooked meals with neighbors or community groups, that's very helpful. My neighbors get pies all the time. Your pantry can still serve others even while it's serving you. It kind of helps you get over that hump because while it was intended to serve, your household, now that it's so much more than what you may need, it can still serve others. A very quiet, a very healing act, it can be very healing, very cathartic, is to make a favorite meal of your spouse's. Not as a goodbye meal. No, not as a goodbye meal. But kind of in loving remembrance, if they really loved, I don't know, pizza, okay? Make a pizza. Remember some fond memories. Invite some friends over to enjoy a pizza, because it's something that person used to really love. Meatloaf, whatever the case may be. It can become kind of a personal ritual, a moment to cry or a moment to smile. It's a definite way to reclaim the kitchen as a safe space for yourself. Remember that if you're not ready yet, it's okay. You don't have to make decisions about food or storage or routines right now. You don't have to. Your pantry is patient and it's understanding most of the time. Let it hold space for you while you figure out what comes next, because there's so much right at the beginning, right? There's so much for like the first, 6 months. And so it will patiently wait for you. It will be there to support you. It will be that insurance to help you know that you're going to be okay. You don't have to sort it all out at once. And I want you to remember that, this community pretty regularly is always there for you, whether it's for practical help, emotional support, or just somebody to talk to about shelf-stable soup. If you've gone through this, have any constructive ideas that might be helpful, I have not gone through this yet. I have not gone through this. And so I'm kind of limited as to actually on what you can do, but I know that a bunch of our viewers have gone through something like this. And so if you have something in particular that helped you figure out how to traverse going from a pantry preparedness aspect to all of a sudden one, leave your comments down below. Let's show each other some love and some support during one of the more difficult times in this life. Whether you're preparing for 2 or for 1, it's always good to remember to be safe and keep stacking it to the rafters, my friend.